Now it should be loaded up.
There you go.
It's up there.
There we go. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the July 23rd, 2018 meeting of the Litchfield Board of Selectmen. The board is just coming out of a paperwork review session. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask that we stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First items on the agenda are the review and approval of consent items. And the consent items include as follows: the July 9th, 2018 meeting minutes, accounts payable manifest for July 17th for $153,434.29, and July 24th of $166,192.46. We have a payroll manifest July 19th of $66,162.66, and one on July 26th of $50,503.62. We have the tax collector and town clerk reconciliations for the month of June. We have the New Hampshire DRA MS 535 financial report. We have the New Hampshire PA 28 inventory of taxable property. And we have a gravel tax abatement for $270. Are there any items that members would like removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will request a motion for approval.
I make a motion. Good.
I said so moved.
Okay,
Second.
moved by Mr. Bork, seconded by Mr. Brunel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 5-0-0. Are there any other additional items that members would like added to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Public input, again, will occur no earlier than 6:15 p.m. tonight. And we'll go on to the regular order of business of the meeting. First item is 8 Bixby Road, Junkyard Hazardous Building Update. Mr. Brown.
Okay. I know the board is familiar with this property. We've talked about it for about the last 2 years. The property itself has been determined to be in violation of state laws regarding junkyards and the town's zoning ordinance, which again is junkyards and unsafe buildings. So recently is March 30th of this year, the town finally was able to get a letter of violation sent out to the property owner. The property owner had indicated to the inspector that they were moving towards compliance. And sometime probably around May, the inspector was notified that by the contractor that was supposed to be hired to do the demolition work and clean up the junkyard issues, that the property owner had terminated the contract. So we're sitting here now, 2 years later, with this violation still in place. Really no work's been done to make improvements to the property. So at this point, I would recommend that the Board of Selectmen involve legal counsel to take it to the next step, which is really when now we're going to be initiating court proceedings, and the property owner will be responsible for, whatever costs are incurred by the town. At the same time, as we move forward and to try to rectify the unsafe building, it may get to a point as we start this official process that the board will actually go through a process where we would hire a contractor to make the building safe again. We would incur that cost and place liens against the property.
When did this all start again? Because I remember
I can remember
May of 2017, we were told it was under control, it was being addressed. But how long? And at that time,
So,
we did
so this all started, I want to say about plus or minus 2 years ago when the snow collapsed the roof.
Okay.
And then it's my understanding that an individual out in that part of the town had submitted complaints to the town. And it got to the point where that resident came to the selectmen last year about this time and actually really vented his frustration to the board that nothing's been done. So unfortunately, we're still sitting here today. At least we're in a better position where we have sent the legal notice finally to the property owner. So we have that documentation. So that first step that's required before you can kind of really move forward with court proceedings has been taken.
I thought we did that back in May. I thought we were told that was it.
We did. In March, we sent out that certified letter, which the property owner.
Talking about in 2017. I was under the impression this board was told that steps were being taken, official notifications was made. There were some agreements that were happening, and progress seemed to be being made. But
I think at that point in time, the board did direct town staff, and I think there was some. The approach at that point in time, again, was trying to work with the property owner towards compliance. But officially, the town did not deliver the legal notice until March of this year.
I think back then it was just a verbal agreement, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought there was also a meeting after the fact too, that I thought the board instructed to take legal action. And if that's what the outcome, that's what this March letter was, or this
Finally, we got to that point in March this year where the letter was delivered by one of our officers. So it did take us almost a year to get to that point. I wanted to bring the board up to speed because it's the neighbors could be coming in, without much notice. They could approach you, and but that's where we're at. And this will be.
So what
this will not be a quick resolution. This still will be. It could still take some time to rectify this, but having that legal letter go out was the first step.
Okay. So are you looking for a motion to proceed to the?
No, I just put this on the agenda for awareness.
Okay.
I'll be working with our legal counsel and, to get it moving forward.
Very good.
Do we have good notes on all the communications that have been going on between our inspector at the time and, this individual property owner?
The file right now, the best thing that we have in our file right now is this letter of March 30th.
Okay. So there weren't any emails distributed.
Not that I'm aware of. There may be, there might be some emails, in the, on the server or something, but I went through the file today just to see if I could see where there was maybe a printout of a citizen's complaint or something like that, but I couldn't find that.
Because we've been working on this for over a year, and yeah. All right.
There was complaints in the minute.
Okay. Item 2, Roy Memorial Park water meter.
All right, so I placed this on the agenda this evening because I know that this is the project that's been going on. It's regarding the irrigation system at I call it Darapon, but Roy Memorial Park, the athletic field. So some of you might be aware that we have a resident, Mr. Husband, who has written correspondence to this board. He's written correspondence to state officials regarding his concern that the Pennachuck Water, the town of Hudson, possibly the school district, possibly the town, all of our draw from the groundwater in this area is lowering the level of Darapon and having an impact on his property value. So there has been, over the past few years, there's been some meetings with town and school officials, along with Hudson's never come to the table, but New Hampshire DES officials and Pennachuck Water. So Hudson, as far as I'm aware, has not come to the table. With that group, we had a discussion Penachuk had offered up to reduce the amount of their draw throughout the year. I forget the exact amount. It might be 10. I don't know if it's a fixed gallon or a percentage, but they agreed verbally. They have a permit. They could withdraw more, but they verbally agreed that they would do a reduction in their draw. New Hampshire DS was concerned about the fact that the town and the school didn't really have any way of knowing how much it was drawing for irrigation purposes. And Penachuk had offered that we install meters at both wellheads. And the towns and schools would purchase the meter, and Penachuk would program it to be included in their monthly round of meter readings. So that apparently that was all put in place. There was a meter installed down at Dara Pond. And for whatever reason, the data that was being collected for the town side was showing no readings. And so this, I understand this went on last year. It was identified late. And for whatever reason, if there was some problems between the town and Penachuk Water, I don't know. But again, I wanted to make sure this project, because we had a commitment with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services that we install this and start monitoring our usage. Because what I forgot to mention was that the state was also concerned if we didn't know how much we were using, we could be violating, some state regulations on how much, we would need a permit to draw if we exceeded 20,000 gallons per day. So the meter has never been, it was installed, wasn't working, determined that maybe we installed, the meter didn't meet the needs of Penachuk or whatever. And I finally met with Penachuk officials and our landscaper, and Penachuk's delivered a new meter to us, the proper size, and I'm told that it's going to be installed this week. So we'll see. I'll keep you informed. But hopefully it's installed, it's working, and we can start. We'll have half a season to be able to start seeing what our usage is.
Any questions from members of the board? All right, thank you, Troy. Page Road paving project.
So there are sections of Page Road that have the road agent has been concerned about for the past couple of years. I've been down. He's shown me the areas of concern. Overall, as you know, we've been working towards trying to pave all of Page Road, from Charles Bancroft all the way up to the 102 or the Hudson line. So the last section is about a mile from Albuquerque to the town of Hudson. And the best approach that we, with the funds that we have available at this point in time, we've consulted with Continental Paving, and they recommended that we do a spot mill. So basically we go in, instead of milling, the entire length of the road, we'll go into certain sections, mill it, and then we'll fill it with a 2-inch binder. Let that all kind of set for the year, and then come back in the spring and do a 1-inch overlay over the full length. That plan was developed because we had limited funds. And talking with the road agent today, we think there's a very good possibility that we may have the funds to put the 1-inch overlay down, but we just don't want to commit to that right yet. So we wanted to get the board to commit to the mill and fill project. And as we get closer to fall, because we suspect that this work will be done in the fall, if we are comfortable with our budget at that point in time, we will come back to you and ask for additional funding to do the 1-inch overlay, which would be good to get this section of roadway done because there are now signs of sections on Albuquerque that are going to start needing to be addressed. Mm-hmm. Probably the same approach, doing some spot milling and filling. So So
Question.
we're proposing to use impact fees for this in the amount of $55,652.03. So we'd like to have the board approve the expenditure of those funds. The project is estimated to be about $65,000. The difference will be paid for from the operating budget.
So is this a direct deduction from the paving cost next year? If we decide to do the 1 inch next year? I mean, we're looking at two different processes.
So we would, right now, so this project would, if we're not able to complete it with the 1 inch overlay this year, then you'll see in our budget next year, one of the planned projects will be the 1 inch overlay for
The 1 inch
for
overlay would
Page.
be 40,000 because it's $100,000.
We think it's, well, we had an estimate. It's right around 50,000. I mean, the price of asphalt is changing every day. So,
So you're looking for a motion tonight?
yeah, I did. There's a prepared motion that,
Okay.
that would be acceptable for the finance department to use those funds.
Gentlemen?
I move to approve the expenditure up to $65,000 for the Page Road Mill and Phil Road Improvement Project and encumber $55,652.03 from the road impact fees for said purpose.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Weber, seconded by Mr. Brunel. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 500. Okay, purchase and sale agreement, 155 Hillcrest Road.
All right. As you know, this board has met with the owners of 155 Hillcrest Road, and we had come to an agreement on a purchase price, the amount of $90,000. They were asking $120,000, and the land itself consists of about 2.5 acres. Town has it assessed at $108,000. This is vacant property. It's an approved lot with a driveway permit for a duplex dwelling. The purpose of the town showing interest in acquiring this property is simply, first and foremost, is for safety. We think that by purchasing this property, we will then be able to rectify the site distance problem. So for our residents and all the town vehicles, the heavy equipment, the fire engines, police cars that are leaving that driveway as well, it'll be safer for them. And then it does provide, even though there's nothing in the radar right now or a need, but in the future, if there's a need for expansion of the recycling facility, this land could accommodate some of that expansion. So the purchase and sale agreement, as the board has requested, our attorney has drafted for your signature this evening. There's no requirement for a down payment. It's straight out just an agreement that we will seek funding at the town meeting in March.
Contingent upon passage
town.
of town meeting.
So they will withhold, they'll hold this property for us until we see if it's approved at town meeting. If not, we're not out any security deposit, or there's no funds lost by the town.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the purchase and sale agreement. Gentlemen?
I make a motion that we approve the purchase and sales agreement for the amount of $90,000 for the property located at 155 Hillcrest Road.
Moved by Mr. Brunel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Schaefer. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 500. Okay, it's 6:19. For the sake of our visitors, I will open the floor up for public comment. And I ask you to introduce yourself and
Just waiting for the entrance. Tim Hebert, 21 Century Lane, Litchfield, New Hampshire. As most of you know, I had a petition that was placed on Facebook. I don't know if you're aware. And we've garnered quite a bit of signatures. To this point, I believe we are currently up to 221, 222. I'd like to submit these to the Board of Selectmen for hopefully for reconsideration of the building department being underneath the fire department and putting it back as a separate entity. Along with that, I'll read it to you. The town by petition of the below town residents, it is requested that the town reinstate the position and title of head of code enforcement as it originally was, removing the position from under the fire chief. Upon doing so, the Board of Selectmen will reinstate the former head of the department with no change in salary, benefits, or tenure for the purposes of vacation time accrual or any other time-based benefit, basically whatever would be accrued from tenure in the office. I want to keep this positive. I don't want to tax. I want to give up the seat for other people to comment and everything like that. I have a separate issue that I would like to reserve after everybody has a chance to come up here. That one's not as positive, and I want to keep the positivity going. With that being said, would you accept the 221 signatures and hopefully open up conversation about redoing? And with this being said, I can tell you that everything was mostly positive on the social media, and people seem to think that, it may be just my opinion, but you guys weren't doing anything wrong. You were trying to help the town. And this is just basically the town people saying, thank you, but we like the way it was, and we want to have it back to the way it was.
Okay, absolutely, we'll accept it.
Thank you.
And now just know that we will have to confer with the town council.
Yep, and it's not an official thing. It's just the voice of,
Sure.
of the citizens.
And that's the way good government works, and
Yeah.
we'll be happy to accept that.
Thank you. And with that being said, some of those signatures, I'm not quite sure if it was based off of location for the cell phone when the person did it.
Okay,
There's some of them are Boston, Mass, Milford.
sure.
So
I believe what we'll have to do is verify it anyway at some point, I believe, Tim. But again, we'll confer with council
okay,
and proceed according to what she suggests.
I appreciate it.
So,
Okay.
no
And
problems.
with
Thank you.
that, I'll surrender to anybody else that wants to talk before the other issue.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board?
Wait, what is this? The end of mine is what you have.
That's why I went before.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's why I did that. Joe Cabral, 7 Brickyard Drive. Okay, these are questions that I'm going to be asking. And I'm here to ask the following questions to the Board of Selectmen only.
Okay.
You're left out.
No, can you hold on one second?
Yeah.
All right. Now, we cannot answer any questions.
It's not to do with
related
Kevin.
to- Okay. And some of the questions we may not have the answer to right away, but we're going to be happy
To get them to me.
to get the answer to you.
All
We
right.
can't answer them tonight. You can rest assured that we'll have the answer for you in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. So I'm fully aware of the short time I have for these questions, and I know other questions might be wanted to be asked, which he's done. So with that done, the question that we ask direct to both, there's a thing I want to make clear. If I ain't got time to finish this, I'd like to get on the minutes for August 6th, because at that point, those questions are going to be with him and the fire chief. I'm requesting to have him here at that date. Is that possible?
Well, let's start
Okay,
with
these
the
questions here are very little to the fire chief and him. The next round I have in August would be the next bunch.
Would it be helpful if you submitted them before then?
Well, they're not all done completely, but
I see.
what I'm trying to do is,
The only reason for your sake that we were able to get you complete answers.
right. But if he's here, I can get answers too,
Well, it's even that, the problem is when you hit someone with a question, they may not
I don't
have
think they're going to be that,
the answer.
that high.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you get the answer
Yeah.
you're looking
No problem.
for. Okay.
Okay. Now, Brett, this one's going to be to you. What does an MRI stand for? Municipal something association.
Oh, well, Municipal Resources Incorporated.
Okay. What does it stand for?
Municipal Resources
Okay.
Incorporated. They
What-
are
Okay, go ahead.
they are a group that does municipal research and survey on all functions and facets of town government. They have specialists in each area. They do schools, they do highway, they do fire, they do police, they do roads, they do inspections, and municipalities hire them and they also provide services, temporary services, until towns are able to get full-time people to fill positions such as town administrator, town manager,
Now, all towns have that?
No, this is a separate company. They're out of
So,
Meredith.
no, I'm just asking, not all towns.
All
like-
towns have the ability to utilize
oh, okay.
MRI services.
All right. My next question is, what's your affiliation with this association? Do you have any?
I had about 15 years ago. I did one survey for them.
Okay. Is there a cost to belonging to this association?
No, it's not an association.
Well, I call it association.
No, it's a company.
A company.
It's
Is there
a
a
private
cost?
company.
Is there a cost to this? Yes or no?
We hired them and we paid them.
So there's a cost.
When we hired them to do a survey, like we did with the police department, as we've been doing with the road agents department, the highway department, there's a small
Okay,
fee.
my next thing was going to be, is it a one-time fee, an annual fee?
One time.
One time.
A one-time, once a year?
Right, because it's not, this is per service, per
Right.
contract.
We don't use them every year.
We don't use them all the time.
All right. And how much would that be roughly?
All depends on how many hours they spend, how many people they have to commit to the project.
All right.
All
So,
different fees.
so in the last year, we used them? This past year?
No.
No.
You're
we
aware.
haven't
The last time we used them, we had a vacant position, the bookkeeper position, and they provided us with an accountant for 2 days a week for about 3 months. But I think that was probably 2 years ago. And prior to,
All right.
What
So
about
is-
the highway department report?
I was just going to ask that.
so currently, right now, they're working on a
Currently,
study
yeah.
for
Yeah,
us.
that's what I was just
Studying
going to, that's the next one was going to be. Okay. So we got one going on right now. then.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no figure on how much that would be until it's done?
No, until it's done, right?
Okay. Is this something that the taxpayers vote on to initiate if we wanted this or don't want it? Is it something that we
No, it's in the
can
normal,
ask that to?
They can.
Bringing it up.
but it's in the normal course of
So if they
business
want,
we do to
okay,
manage the town.
so if we wanted to do that, it would have to be like a petition thing
Yeah,
for them to do that?
Like a warrant,
That's why
or
I'm-
you could ask the board.
Yeah,
You could
because
petition
that's
the
something
board.
I've been asked and I said, okay, I'm going to ask the question.
No, that's fine. These are
Yeah.
legitimate questions.
Right.
If you ask, if you want to read the questions in for the record, for the general public to hear it, we can respond to these in writing and actually answer them completely.
Yeah, but
Right.
they like me to come at night, so I'll come at night,
That's fine.
you know? All right, you already said what the town benefits from it. That was going to be one. Okay, this is one that everybody's hit me with. Who on the board voted in favor of hiring our current fire chief? And all I want is to please respond with I did or I did not. And you can start from either end. That's all you need.
I think the only people that were here
Right.
was
The only ones
just me.
I did.
1, 2.
Right.
So the rest of you weren't there then.
Right.
That's a different time. Okay, that's what they wanted. Okay, this is the other one. How many candidates were interviewed for the fire chief position?
I don't
You
recall.
know, just they're only looking for a number. So that's something you can
I
get
want-
back to me.
So
Yeah.
I want to say there was maybe 12,
Okay.
not interviewed, but what we received. We went through a whole.
Yeah. Okay.
We filtered through, got down to a base pit pair, and then we brought up, I think, 4 or 5 in maybe. I'm trying to remember what the numbers
Yeah.
were.
Okay. My thing next with that, when you got down to the 5, was any of that a town resident? Yes or no?
I don't recall.
You don't
We'd
recall.
have to go back.
Can you go back on that
You know
and
what
give
I'm
it
saying?
next time you see me or something? You know, next time you can
Because
throw
I
it
don't
right
wanna
at me.
give you
You'll
a
say-
wrong answer.
Right. You can next
I
time. I'll
don't
be if,
recall,
right.
because it was 4 years ago.
Okay.
at least.
So, you know, if I come back on August 6th, you get me the thing, because like I said, I'm not going to tie this up. You can give me that then, that's fine.
I don't know if we can announce who the candidates were that we didn't select because. that's
Oh, I don't
all
want,
done.
the
You just want
name-
to know who, if there was any Litchfield residents?
right, if it was if it was 2 Litchfield, 3 Litchfield people, that's what we're looking for, or 1,
Okay.
that's what they're looking for.
Mhm.
That's another thing. What was the reason for not hiring from within? I'm looking for a short response for this one.
Again,
Okay,
it depends on who responded, who applied.
I think the
and-
board at the time decided to go outside or open up the jobs for anybody who wanted to apply.
Okay.
And whoever applied is who we looked at.
all right.
I think with that, if I can answer that too, there was also certain qualifications
Right.
that whoever applied had to meet in
Right.
order for the position.
Okay,
And also, there was an outside, if I remember correctly, there was an outside board
Correct.
of interview board that interviewed the candidates. We did not interview.
so you guys
the
didn't
candidates.
interview.
We did the final. So
We
they
did
did,
the
they
final.
helped us weed through all the.
Oh, okay.
But,
All right.
and there was an outside board of fire professionals that interviewed the candidates, screened them, and gave us a list of those that would meet the qualifications that we were looking for.
Okay. Now, who in the Board of Selectmen voted in favor of the $5,000 bonus to be given to the fire chief on completion of our fire station? You responded, I did, or I did not. Because that was on his thing. I just got it from him 2 weeks ago or something. I asked for the contract.
I didn't give it to you.
Well, I know, but I know somebody gave it to me. I wrote a letter and got it, and I read it on the contract.
If that was part of his contract,
I'm
we all
asking
voted
is
for
who
that.
in favor on the board voted
We
in
voted
favor?
on the contract.
We voted on the contract
So you
itself.
all voted to it?
I can say I didn't because I'm.
That's
from
what
the
I'm
fire
looking for. I'm
department.
saying, all I'm wanting
He
is that you
abstained.
did or you
I abstained from
didn't.
that
That's
vote.
all we're looking for.
Right.
So you two did?
I think we all did except for
We all
Kevin.
did.
Definitely.
It was 401.
Kevin-
Okay,
Yeah,
boys,
Kevin-
that's fine. That's what I wanted.
Joe,
This
just so
contract.
Kevin abstains because he's a part of the member of the fire department, so he doesn't take any actions on it.
Right, I just, that's what they wanted me to ask, that's why I didn't want to go through a whole thing. They made these short and quick for me this time.
No, this is good. Thank you. And I
Yeah.
have no.
Because I told them I'm not going through that again, so
Right.
it had to be short and sweet.
Our vote was in public. I mean, we acknowledged.
Right,
the
these
vote.
are
So
all
these are all public votes.
Public
Right.
votes, they're
Yeah.
all on TV.
Okay,
they're
and
all-
another one sentence, please. Give your reason for the $5,000 bonus to be given to the fire chief for doing his job. In one sentence from each one, is that's what they want. If you want to give it now, fine. If you want to write it and give it to me next week, and I'll give it to the people that asked this.
I'm just going to tell you, when we read and when we reviewed everything to do with the contract, we thought it was not unlike the private sector, not unlike what other municipalities do. And we thought it was the correct thing because we substituted that for other benefits that would have cost more.
And not every fire chief is building a new fire station. It has to be done within budget. So that was.
Well, there's a lot of people that are really ripped about that one. I'm just
Can I-
telling you, a lot.
He's gonna, because of this fire station, I believe he's required to work, 24 hours
Yeah.
every week.
24 hours,
minimum.
yeah.
He is, because of this fire station, and I'm not going to personally guarantee, but I can almost guarantee that he's working beyond his 24 hours because of that building once they start rolling in it. So the bonus was fixed in because he's going to be working above and beyond his hours potentially by answering phone calls on off time.
Prior to.
And so yeah, I mean, it's only fair to do that.
Geez, I did extra work for work and I didn't get paid for it when I was on the outside. That's pretty good. It's a good one. All right. Brett, they got this one named at you. Are you and the fire chief on the same committee, association, boards, et cetera? Yes or no? Which ones? Like on the fire chief association or I guess, there's all kind
Oh,
of.
yes, I'm the executive director of the New Hampshire Fire Chiefs
All right.
Association.
And is,
I've been on that board since 1985.
okay, so you've been on that. All right. How long have you known the fire chief? Years, please. That's what they're asking for you. How many years have you known Frank?
The fire
Vassell?
chief was our.
No, he wants to know, they want to know how many years you've known Frank.
I didn't know him before we hired him
Okay.
in 1987 to be one of our two first full-time firefighters.
Okay, so you've known him since 87.
Basically, but I lost touch with him when he left.
Yeah.
I didn't really have touch with him until he came back, professionally.
Right, okay.
Professionally.
Now,
But
this is
he was one of our two first
Okay.
full-time firefighters.
now it takes more sense to me why all these changes have taken place over the last 4 or 5 years. This is me now. And I'm a good old country boy. I don't like to see big changes. I moved to this country out in here for it to stay like this. I moved the hell out of Hudson when they put Walmart in. Okay. I couldn't stand it. So now this is me. This is a good old boy considers that you guys got the good old buddy system. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. And the trouble with it has to stop because it's affecting the taxpayers in this town. Even the elderly, for Christ's sakes, I've known two that had to go back to work because you're pushing stuff out like this stupid Taj Mahal thing over here, and it's going to kill some people. Frankly, I think it's going to kill me in the next few years that I won't even be staying here,
Well, I can accept your opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, that's my opinion. It's an opinion of a lot of others. They liked what I wrote,
Understand.
but
But I would just say, Joe, that everybody has the opportunity to vote at town meeting.
yeah. But see, the
And-
trouble was you had it when it was a snowstorm, and this is what a lot of them are. I know,
No,
it
We had,
wasn't
the
your
largest, we
fault.
had the largest turnout.
Largest
we've ever had
turnout
with-
we ever
even in
had.
good weather.
What was the total count on people voting?
Well, no, we don't have. that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What was total count? What?
They
That's
asked
the
the
total of the count of people that voted, not on the fire station. The
Voted?
total amount of people that voted.
I can get that for you.
Okay, that's all I'm
and the
wanting.
town
Yeah.
clerk said it was the largest turnout
We've ever
that
had.
we've ever had.
Is that
Good
right?
weather, bad weather.
Right.
Okay.
We were shocked.
All right.
And the Board of Selectmen could not, or the town moderator could not cancel the voting.
Okay, that's the other
Right.
thing that the state's got to get their butt in gear
We couldn't
because
cancel.
Well, let me
it's a
tell
topic. Stay later. We have a topic for that. Today.
We have a topic. for
you
that.
got a topic for that?
I'm on the New Hampshire
You
Municipal
better get them to shut it down when
Association.
it snows.
Well, no, listen, Joe, listen what happened. I've been lobbying for a year, okay, of the Senate and the House. They presented a bill
All right.
that would have the Secretary of State in charge, or Secretary of State responsible for canceling town meetings in the event of a snowstorm.
Right.
The Municipal Association and the rest of us did not think that made sense at all,
Doesn't.
because if it's snowing here, it doesn't necessarily mean it's snowing.
Snowing up in there.
Correct. So we fought that bill. We asked our senator to fight the bill. Unfortunately, she didn't. Just so that you know, tonight I'm going to ask this board to approve a motion to encourage the New Hampshire Municipal Association to sponsor a bill that would allow our moderators
To shut it down.
to
if they
shut
asked
that
it.
down with weather. We had them 2 in a row. We got whacked, and you
Yeah, I know. 2 years in a row.
And we, as you well know, the first time we canceled it,
Right.
all
Which
right?
was good.
And we think that we have that right still under RSA 40.
But some of
Okay.
it's conquered, so.
But the problem is there's some people up there that don't agree with us. So what I'm going to ask our board tonight is if they support us going ahead and putting this legislation before the
Okay.
Senate and the House this year
Good.
to maintain
That,
our moderators' authority
to be able to do
deal with
that.
that.
It's a good
Yes.
thing. I don't see
Right.
why the heck they didn't do it up there. And the other one they asked me is, how long were you fire chief here when you were chief?
16 years.
16 years. Wow. All right. Now, this is towards the old,
1985 to 2001.
this is going to go towards the old firehouse.
Okay.
Some of them are asking what the hell's going to go on. So then they got me writing it, saying it this. Am I correct in saying that what happens to the old fire station will be up to the voters, or will it be voted on or correct? That's what they want. They want to know if we're going to be able to vote on the old fire station. Because what they're, okay,
Yeah, no, and I understand completely. That's a
what they're
very
looking
good
for,
question.
okay, is I think it's some of them are looking at like a senior center so they can put like a health clinic in there with them once in a while, stuff like that, instead of it being put to a stupid storage building.
Sure. The problem is it doesn't meet the fire code. It doesn't meet the building code. That building, once they're out of there, will not be able to be used for any residential type building where the people of town can go in there and stay there for any length of time, like for a meeting or anything. I
Okay,
believe the only function that building will be able to help is to house either vehicles or storage.
okay. And the last one was going to be, but he's already done it. I was going to be getting a petition for Kevin Lynch, but
Okay.
he beat me to the punch. Good job.
No, thank you. I really think that these questions were valid.
Yeah, well, I told them the last
And I
time.
appreciate the fact that you coming in and
Yeah.
and I like to keep a positive
Right.
dialogue back and forth.
Okay, like, is it all right for me to be on August 6th for that with you?
We do not.
I want
meet
you, the board.
6th. It's the 13th.
Oh, it's the 13th. All right. Put me on for the 13th, and I like the fire chief with you guys here. You and him and the fire chief.
Is there any chance I'm only
I don't
asking,
know. I've only got a couple right now that's aimed at him,
Yeah.
and they keep coming at me with them every now and
Okay,
then.
the only thing I'd like to have you do, if you can, if we can have them a little bit ahead of time so we can get you the answers you're looking for.
All right. Because I'm getting hit with them like here and there. They drop by the house, you got this, and it's like.
I
okay.
understand. I
So
understand.
I'm getting nailed. When
Sure.
I don't mind doing it.
Nope.
I know a lot of people don't like doing what I'm doing,
No.
but I don't mind.
But this is government. This is government.
But a lot of people don't even do it when they were at work.
I understand.
I went through
But
this
no,
at
I
work.
appreciate what you've done tonight.
Yeah. All right. So
And
that's
thank
it for me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Tim, did you want to come back?
I did. Tim Hebert, 21 Century Lane, Litchfield, New Hampshire. Actually, sitting over there thinking about it, this is not a positive discussion. I've actually been dreading this discussion with you guys. I know that the town administrator is aware of it. I brought it to his attention last week. I don't know if he's talked to you about it. With that being said, since it could potentially be a personnel issue, and I don't want to tarnish a potential department in public, would you guys like me to do this in non-public session, or do you want me to say it here?
Since we really don't know where.
I could, if this helps, Mr.
Okay.
Hebert. I spoke to the chief because the individual that you spoke to me about, you were concerned about, reports to the fire chief. I spoke to him Friday evening, and he asked that you put together, either meet with him, but he wants something in writing. So if you could file, your concerns in writing, so we have, documentation of however you've been impacted, and then he will conduct an investigation to see if there were any violations made to town policies.
Okay.
Okay. If
That's really
this-
the best way to proceed.
Right. And you're fully aware of the chain of command. You
I
work with it.
am. I'm a little worried about the retaliation if I do it in writing, because the complaint is actually about retaliation and threatening.
Okay. Well, so maybe can you have a talk then with the fire chief?
I can do that.
Because this is his jurisdiction. And if you do not get satisfaction up the letter, then it will come to us at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close public comment at 6:42 p.m. and continue on with the regular business. Petition for poll license on Louise Drive.
What is that?
Let's see here. Got lost.
Oh, this is routine.
I just put
This
it
is
as
a-
poll license. So this is a petition that the town clerk's office receives. It's been reviewed by the road agent. He goes out and inspects it, makes sure it's not going to have any impact on the town's right of way. It's the installation of a new pole. It's a utility pole, but it does require a license issued by this board.
Why is there a pole being installed? I mean, is it somebody getting a
It's-
service done, or?
It doesn't say, the application's attached, but it doesn't really explain why that, it's not a replacement pole, it's a new installation, so.
Well, I just have concerns because there is, I live across the street from Louise Drive, basically where they're working. And I want to know where the pole is going to go because, they're trying to put a driveway. I spoke with conservation. These folks are trying to put a driveway through a swamp out onto Pilgrim Drive. And I'm against the pole being put in because if they do that, then that's going to allow them to potentially put a driveway through a swamp right across the street from me.
The last page actually shows the site plan.
Oh, can I see that?
Yeah.
Where is it? On here?
Page 3, if you click on the PDF.
Yeah,
It's on the PDF at the very end.
it's up at the end of Louise. On the right. And it's in between two other poles.
Yeah, you could actually check the other two. It's going to right in the middle.
Okay, yeah. All right. That's fine. I thought it would be to go to somewhere beyond.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good. All right.
Okay. Is there a motion, gentlemen?
I move to approve the, excuse me, I move to approve the Louise Drive pole license permit as received by the town clerk's office and reviewed by the road agent.
Moved by Mr. Brunel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Weber. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 5-0-0. Okay, ambulance debt write-off. Troy.
So our auditors, which you'll be meeting with later in August, early September, they have completed the 2017 financial audit. One of the recommendations that they had was that they wanted the Board of Selectmen to write off the ambulance fees that are aged 3 years or older. So this is the way they want us to manage this uncollected debt moving forward. We've done a lot of work in this area. The auditors have worked with us. We have a accounts receivable policy, and we were carrying a large amount of debt over the last couple of years, and this board's been writing it off. So they want to see us, do this as an annual action. Now, with this being said, the amount of $16,980.03, even though the board's writing this off on our books, these funds are held with our collection agency. So they're still out there actively trying to collect them. The return is, we're lucky to get anywhere from 1% to 3% of the funds, but they will remain in collection until such time that collection agency will write to us and say, we want to write off this amount. So every now and then we do get a check from our collection agency when they collect some funds.
Okay, so all you need is a motion to write off.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
I move to write off uncollected ambulance fees for years 2012, 2013, and 2014 in the amount of $16,980.03 as recommended by the town's auditors.
Moved by Mr. Schaefer,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Weber. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 500. Budget schedule?
Okay. So put together the budget schedule. It didn't really change that much from last year, the way the calendar fell. Everything only moved a couple of days, so at least one day. I kept the lineup the same so that our first meeting would be on August the 27th. We'll get this notice out to the departments. A lot of the departments know that, it's budget season, so they've already started working on preparing their budget. But departments and committees will be notified that we need to have their proposed budget by August the 17th. Our first meeting will be what I consider some of the smaller budgets. And then you'll see our second meeting. We'll have the road agent come in and the fire and police. So it's a heavy night. And then we do that intentionally so that if there are some questions that come out of the second meeting, they can be addressed in the third meeting on September 24th. And then, the work that's left on the 24th is usually pretty light as well. The one thing that every year I always make this statement, and it's my responsibility just as much as yours, is to make sure we try to really jump out on the warrant articles and try to flesh those out as soon as possible, because the budget committee likes to know what we are proposing for warrant articles. One of the ones that I don't know a lot about, but I know there was some discussion last year. I think some of the selectmen received some comments at the polls, or maybe a local business had talked to some of you about Keno.
Yep.
And I know there are many towns that did have a warrant article last year, so it's easy enough to get the warrant article. But so I'll place that on there, but I just wanted to get you thinking about that. We know that we have the land purchase that we just acted on this evening. We'll be working with the union, so hopefully we'll have a police contract warrant article, the operating budget. And then you'll have to go back and check some of my notes. But now's the time. If you have a thought about a warrant article, send me an email. And at least what I'll do is place it on the warrant as a placeholder, so it's not forgotten about.
So we don't need to approve this schedule. Actually, it's
And
our schedule anyway, right?
this is what I'm proposing to you. It's no different than last year.
right,
I need
everyone all set
to
with that?
coordinate
I don't think
with the
we need a
budget.
motion
No,
to
and
approve.
I'll just need to coordinate. If Cindy's watching,
Right.
She hasn't seen this, and yes, I will be sharing it with you and be coordinating with you
Okay.
on her dates.
Everyone all set with that?
Yes.
Okay, on to appointments. We have two of them tonight. One fine young man is here, Matthew Lepore, Conservation Commission, term to expire 2021. Matthew, thank you for your work. And always nice to have youth and vigor on committees as us old timers start to get tired. And Marion Godzik, alternate for the Conservation Commission, for her term to expire in 2021.
So we're just flipping them.
So they're flipping. Yeah.
Right.
Matt, for some clarification on that, so she's becoming an alternate.
She's going to be an alternate now.
Right.
And you're going to move up from alternate to full member.
You're going to be full member.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, that's me, I wasn't aware.
Do you want that to happen? or-
Absolutely.
I think that was the assumption the chairperson made when
This all got started because Marion informed them that she could no
Apparently you
longer
missed the
be
meeting.
a full-timer.
Nice surprises. Huh?
Well, congratulations, Matt. We're glad we can make someone happy. Motion for Matt, full Conservation Commission term.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Schaefer,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Brunel. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 5-0-0. Congrats again, and thank you for your good work, Matt.
Thank you so much.
And a motion for Marion, alternate.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brunel, seconded by Mr. Bork. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 5-0-0. Okay, on to other business. Administrator report. Mr. Brown?
All right, just one item I wanted to mention, just give the board an update on the fire station project. The site work, Continental Paving, informed me today that probably in a day and a half, they're going to be moving off site. If you've noticed, there's some framing timber that's on site. It's been delivered, and we've been very fortunate that the framing crew, which they thought may not be available for another 3 weeks, things happen on their schedule. So some jobs got pushed off, and they were able to come in here last week, find a space to work, and they've actually started assembling the walls, put the plywood on, cut out the windows and door openings. So as soon as Continental's off the site, you might start seeing some of the walls going up. It will only be the administrative office area, not the area, the bay area where the apparatus will be stored. That work, I understand, will be done a little later.
Okay.
And the concrete's not poured in there yet. So the administrative part of the building will start. And I guess that's gonna, you're gonna start seeing things really take shape real quick.
Right.
So
We're still ahead of schedule.
because of the framing, that really helped with their schedule so far. There has been no issues whatsoever.
Great.
No discussion of a change order.
Yeah. Jesus, don't.
And
They won't come.
we do have
Oh,
a
they will.
fire chief, myself, we do have a meeting coming up soon with Ekman Construction and the architects. It'll be our first meeting where we just kind of get together. We will then be meeting every other Monday as the project progresses.
Excellent. Okay, Selectmen reports. Mr. Weber, do you have anything?
The planning board granted a continuance on the application for Mel's Funway LLC, why they consolidate their parcels of land into one parcel so they can get funding easy. So that was granted. They're going to be back in front of us at the end of August to continue on with Mini Mel's approval.
Great. Mr. Brunel?
Nothing to report since the last meeting. Everyone's on summer vacation.
Okay, I have nothing.
I got nothing.
We're on summer schedule, so the next meeting will be the second week of August for the record.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just went for the record. I wanted to mention in correspondence, I don't usually have a lot
we
of
do.
correspondence,
I'm sorry.
but I wanted to mention there's a letter there that we did receive. I wanted it for the record.
Yeah.
That the Bergeron family has written to this board.
Right.
Concerned about construction activity going on around the memorial for Roland Bergeron. So I will respond back to them on your behalf and
Great,
inform them
thanks, 'cause
that
I
we
would be concerned if I were them too.
and I, you know, our goal, and I talked to Chief Freitzel this morning about
Right.
it, is that we definitely want to incorporate landscaping. We want to tie that memorial into the whole landscaping plan, and we want it to be, you know, look really good. So I'll make sure they're aware.
Excellent.
We're aware of
Thank
it, sensitive. We will address it.
Excellent. Okay, we have no items removed from consent. We have no other business. Next meeting is Monday, August 13th, 2018. A reminder to everyone, we have a concert at Dara Pond Saturday night, the 28th, Driving Force. That'll be between 6:30 and 8 p.m. And
Sponsored by the
anyone shed
library and rec department. I think it's a joint.
joint sponsor for
Joint
library and
sponsorship.
rec? Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay, since there is no other business to come before the body, we do have a non-public session. And we will be coming out of non-public only to adjourn. So I will ask for a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A:3, 2A, which deals with the compensation of a public employee.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brunel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Schaefer. A roll call vote. Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Brunel.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Bork, yes. And Mr. So we thank you for watching. See you August 13th.